Alright, 6 o'clock, I call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. Angie is excused. Everybody else is present. Any public comment? Everybody has a copy of the October 8th minutes. Anybody see anything on the minutes that wasn't accurate?
No, it looks pretty good.
I'll make a motion
Oh, you
to
always-
approve the minutes as written.
Motion by Dan to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Okay.
Second by Christie. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alright. Town building updates, number 5.
As you'll see, there is attached at the very back of your packet, there is a new building plan. And you'll see that the buildings are all attached, and there's a reason for that. If we put the Public Works building up front and put it next to the town hall, they both have to have 3-hour firewalls. And if we attach the two via the conference room and that other room that's under the office, then we only need one 3-hour firewall. And it actually works out really well.
And that 3-hour firewall being an L-shaped firewall?
The 3-hour firewall is the firewall that's on the Public Works building next to the office, between the conference room and the office and the Public Works. Right here. Yeah, you'll see it's kind of
So this
hatched.
section here
Yeah.
is like-
Yeah, from the corner all the way.
And it
down.
actually, to me, it works out better because it gives more room for expansion in the future without building. And all we're adding would be the 2 walls and the roof. Well, the floor too, but I mean, it's not like we're adding another, because in the future, if we join them, then we have to tear that one wall
Sure.
down and make it a 3-hour wall. And it's not just the wall that you have to take in consideration. The roof also has to be a 3-hour roof. So it becomes quite an expensive project. By joining them this way, you would have another 2 offices. And what makes it work really well, if you think about it, that little conference room would be ideal if you make that office the chairman's office. So the chairman and the conference room are on that end. So if there's meetings with potential builders or contractors or clients, the chairman and the board or the plan commission, whoever is meeting with them in that conference room, it's kind of secluded, so nobody else is going to be able to hear. It can be a private meeting. And also it makes it easier for the Public Works people to go back and forth to talk to the clerk. And the other thing it does is the Public Works is utilizing their office for a lunchroom, and if the Public Works does grow, then they can utilize the break room that's included in the other area as a lunchroom also. Then that frees up more room for storage of tables and chairs and voting equipment. So it seemed to work out better. There's a few things that have to be changed. If you look where the assistant is, we're calling it the assistant, but it's actually the deputy clerk / assistant. There's no door to get into it. There's a door between there and the records, but there's no way to get in there other than through the clerk's office. And if that assistant ever becomes just an assistant and not a deputy clerk, we can't have her having the accessibility to the clerk. So there's a couple little doorways that have to change, but other than that, Who else had,
So are you thinking with the conference room there by the firewall, taking away the conference room out by the meeting hall? And
Yes.
the chair office? So
Yes.
removing those?
yeah, yeah, just making that, well, I can't make it a bigger room, but I can make it either one larger office or two smaller offices. If you ever have a zoning administrator, the building inspector, the dog catcher, whatever is going to need an office for their files or to talk to people, then those offices would be available for the future use of the town.
It's wise to have a couple,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I totally get
you know,
that.
Spare
flex
rooms.
spaces, because if you fill up every room in your floor plan today, then what about 20 years from now?
Right.
So that's
Right,
probably best to keep those, well, whether it's one room and you put up a wall later, that's not a big change, but having the space to do that,
Right.
that's valuable.
exactly,
I have a question regarding general
sure,
concepts. I seem to recall from conversations that staying under a certain square footage
right.
was so critical for fire suppression requirements.
Right.
Are we avoiding that with how this is an addition, or?
We're avoiding that by the size of that meeting hall, yes. And
Size
we're
of
avoiding
it.
it with the firewall between the public works and the,
Okay.
yeah. We
Got it.
have avoided that altogether.
Okay.
And we're meeting the egress, so when you have a hallway and that type of thing, depending on the length of the hallway, you have to have two means to get out of that hallway or to get out of those offices, and we will make that because of that back door that you see
See
there.
that?
There won't be a back door over here no more.
No,
Okay.
that one will be gone.
Okay.
And that back door,
It's just an escape anyway.
it is, but it also, if the clerk comes in to do work without wanting the public to know that she is there, or
She can
the,
sneak in the back
yeah,
door.
any of the, like here, we can't really do that. I mean, once we come in, we're in here. Because this is the other means of egress, and it's not utilized. But this would be a little more functionable.
I like that.
So I know it's just a matter of wording that any one of these rooms can be
Sure.
addressed by anyone, but would it make sense, since the clerk or the assistant clerk should not have access to the clerk's office, to switch those around? So the clerk has to go through the assistant clerk's office to get to her room, and she could always lock that door? And then the
That's a
assistant clerk-
really, really good comment, and we thought about that. But if you look right where the entry is right now,
Mhm.
if you're coming straight in, the first person you're going to see is that assistant. And if at such time we want somebody here full-time, that assistant would be the ideal person, because it's a lower paying job. It's somebody who knows what everybody does around here,
Right.
and they can refer them to anybody. So that is the first person that you want them to contact. So that's why that office has to be
Yeah, I get
right
it.
there. And that records room has to be in between the treasurer and the clerk
Right.
for accessibility for both. So that was kind of a hard one to manage, yeah.
I had the same thought, Christine. My first thought is if I come into a town hall, the first person I want to see is the clerk, but you're right. It would be an administrative assistant
Yeah.
or
Yeah. So
somebody just
yeah.
point you in the right direction.
Right, right. And that's exactly what we talked about.
Can I help you? Treasurer? That way. Clerk? That way.
Exactly. And then we thought about the offices that are in that meeting hall area. Who would occupy those? Well, the building inspector, because they're not one that has to be forefront to the public, but yet they need that private space to talk alone with the builder or the potential client. And they need to have a record storage, because that's the problem here. As a building inspector, we're sharing the same office, and we're getting file cabinets upon file cabinets in there, and there's getting to be a lack of space. And we could take those files and put them in the cloud, as they say, but it's very expensive, and we do have the space. The other thing we talked about, if you notice that the treasurer, the records, the assistant, that wall there is a continuous wall. But then when it comes up to the clerk, it's bumped out. It's bumped out because that's the doorway into the hall right now. my suggestion would be to take that out of there, because there is not gonna be a door there, is to bump that wall back so it is a continuous wall. That would be my suggestion based on the costs, of course. But in doing that, we'd have to go into that second office a little bit to give her more room. But that's okay, because those are just walls in there dividing those rooms.
Okay.
On the outside, if you look at the outside, the one thing that we talked about was there is no awning over top of the door for the Public Works entrance door, coming from the street or coming from the parking lot. And we feel that there should be, just to give it some cohesiveness to the rest of the building. It doesn't have to be anything big, just,
I would say if you're gonna-
A real small.
Yeah.
windows.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna do it small, so the
Right.
public doesn't look at it
Exactly.
as a door for the public.
Exactly.
They see it as a service door.
Yeah,
for their
and
business.
along with that, these are notes from the internal office people and myself, and we would label each door, each entrance, so it would say Town Hall, Administrative Offices, Public Works, to keep it to where people know where they're going. I did like the idea of those planters out there. It shows that there's a definite public building here, and it also doesn't put anything in the ground. It can be changed. We can do plastic structures if we want. We can also decorate for the holidays if you want, but it's not something that has to be maintained.
It's gotta be low maintenance,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, and we could even do a flag in one of them, and, you know, a rock sculpture, whatever. But it just gave it some ambiance. That wasn't a very expensive fix. So, what else did they say? Oh, on the inside, the shop would have heated floors where the shop is because of the equipment. And then it was suggested that all the doors be coded door locks so that nobody has to carry around keys, and they can be recoded, because what we're running into is lost keys, and you know, the changeover in personnel is just always, you know, it's a town. So that was something that was brought up.
Like a pin or like a card access.
Code. So
Yeah,
like
pin
like
code.
we have here for our security lock, right here on the wall, except each door has a code, a keypad, like you have on your house on the entrance door.
Adam, I got keys.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We don't have a pin pad.
No.
Like the door on the back of the building right now, to
Yeah.
get into Public Works,
Yes,
that's one of the keypads.
Okay.
yes it is. And it uses a key and a keypad.
And it's easy to change the codes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just that there's so many keys floating around, and they don't always get turned in, and there's always an issue with that. So this seemed like it was a good idea, I thought, after hearing it.
So the current design of the Public Works addition has the wash bay being a pull through, and then the nearest bay to that being a pull through, and then the rest of them not being.
Right.
Correct?
Yes,
2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Okay.
that's exactly right.
Now, the Public Works right now is actually two buildings that are butted up against each
Yeah.
other. Is that, is the second building, are we past that with the wash bay here? For the second half of that
Yeah,
building?
yeah,
Or is
we
that- I
made
know
our
we're gonna take it
limits.
down, but is it actually past
Yeah,
that?
the new building is actually a little smaller than what the old building is,
Right.
and it's being moved forward,
That's what I was
so,
wondering
yeah.
if it was gonna be past that second half, maybe while construction.
No, this whole building right now is back here, so
Right.
we're pulling it forward, so this is more driveway
Right,
now.
but it's split in half. That actual building looks like it's split in half, two different buildings there.
It is, it was built at 2 different times.
I was just wondering during the process of building,
Can we utilize part
Can
of
we
it?
utilize that second
That
half,
end.
or is it gonna be in the way?
It's gonna be in the way because they're gonna have to remove the soil because of the contamination from the oil and water and
Okay,
gas.
So a one-shot deal then, pretty
Yeah,
much. for-
it's a one-shot deal with the public.
Just a thought. We're gonna run into problems with storing everything, so.
The architect doesn't think so. He thinks if we put, temporary Quonsets out here, just to keep things dry, that we should be able to start in the spring and be done in the fall for the public works section.
It's not that big.
And I think we had discussed this before, as we move that public works forward, we're gonna be hitting into the tanks out front, or the.
Those would
holding
have to
tanks?
be moved. and-
Okay, so
It's
all
above
that,
yeah.
ground.
is that all like
Yeah, that's above
in their
ground.
estimate, they like understand all the stuff that needs to be moved and rerouted? Like,
they
wasn't there a
will.
septic out
The
there at
architect
some
only
point?
is doing a building plan.
Okay.
That's up to us to tell these people. So when we go to get bids, we will take pictures of what we currently have and what we know has to be done.
Okay, because our
According-
septic for the public works is out front on to the right, isn't it? Like, as I look at it,
No.
to the right?
The septic is behind the building.
To the east.
And it's
Front
just
is the
tanks.
proposed.
Okay.
So the new septic will go along the asphalt over there.
Oh, okay.
We've already had that
Assessed.
soil tested
Okay.
and,
For
yeah.
some reason, I thought we had something else underground out to the right as I
There
look
is
at
a
it to
well
the right.
between the two buildings now, but that also has to
That'll
be.
have to go.
Yeah, that'll have to be kind of
Yeah.
condemned or whatever. Okay, thank
We,
you.
we did dig up part of the septic because it was, full of grease. So part of it's been replaced, so we did find out what we had for septic, so.
Right, yeah, as long as we all know what we got
Yep,
underneath there.
yep, and we don't know what's under the building. I
Right.
mean, that's a
Yeah,
unknown,
that was a
but
whole different.
we do know
conundrum.
that it will have to be dug up, whatever is there. If
Yeah.
it's tanks, if it's just soil, no matter what it is, it's gonna have to go.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's all I have. I think I can answer most questions though, if you have any.
You said that the floor drain in the shop would be into a holding tank?
Yes. So now required, 3 years ago, I think that's what, 3 years ago, the state passed a new law that says if you have runoff from vehicles, it has to go in a separate tank and it has to be hauled away. There's no filtration system that's allowed in the state of Wisconsin anymore. So that system all by itself has to go for state approval. The system for the waste of the bathrooms, that's approved right at Wood County and Rapids. But he's not sure that that can be approved at Wood County and Rapids. Jeff Brubaker is the one that approves them at the state, and he did work at Wood County. So he's thinking that it's a easy approval, but it's still a $300 approval. I know that's not much money on the scope of things, it's just that, it's just somebody's signature to put a
And then
tank in the ground and haul it away.
At that time, it's determined what size tank you need to get. through
That's all
X
been
amount of
determined
time
already,
and- Okay,
based on our needs, not on the plan, just on our needs.
okay.
And that includes the wash bay? Because that'll
Yes.
generate a lot of water.
Yes,
there.
the
That's-
wash,
that was
yeah,
too,
that does
we're
include
gonna
the
have
wash
more.
bay. The wash bay can go into our septic. It's
Okay,
what
Does
tank-
this qualify as a holding tank?
Yes, the wash bay does.
You do know the town has an ordinance against holding tanks.
This is, not a holding tank as far as,
septic requirements.
Waste.
sanitary, yeah, it's not waste.
Something to look into.
Well, if they don't, then
Just
how
the
did you
wording,
guys do
just
it
the
here?
wording.
This is what this is here.
What?
The hall has holding tanks now. That's what's there.
You got a drain field.
No, there's no drain field.
What's
That's how
the
they
big,
found out.
what's the
There's
big
just
mound back there?
Tanks. There's tanks there. That's all that's there.
I mean, this building,
No, the other one. This one has a drain
Yeah.
field.
okay.
It's the other
This that
building
was
that doesn't.
built before the ordinance was put in.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, so then it was
If that was
grandfathered.
changed, I always assumed that that was all drain field back there.
Yeah, it's quite a long.
How
mound.
can how can we have an ordinance against something that's lawfully correct?
It's way back in the
Can't
day.
you have a tank?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Why can't?
You have to be able to have holding tanks because out on Church and Ranger, those people can't have conventional septic systems.
Their mound system.
They're mound systems. Well, those are tanks.
Yeah, but they're pressurized mounds.
Pressurized.
Holding tanks are pumped every time they get full.
Mulholland Park over there's got pressurized system.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
two different systems.
Okay.
It's not a holding tank.
Okay,
It
so
holds until.
we're talking chromatics,
it's pumped
everybody's
up.
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
of
yeah,
something
yeah,
different.
yeah.
We're
I know
talking
what he's
chromatics,
saying, and I know what I'm thinking. So yeah, I
No,
get
there's no
it.
drain
I
field
get
in
it.
holding tank.
What you're
Right.
talking about
No,
is going
I
like to
get it.
Menards and buying a tank and putting it in there and then pumping it
Well,
out.
like you would have
Yeah.
in Marshfield.
Yeah,
Most
Or
everything
Siegel.
up in Marshfield, north of Marshfield,
Yeah.
they got
yeah,
Town of Lincoln has got a holding tank.
yeah.
Yeah, Siegel also.
Yeah.
Siegel's got quite a few of them.
But I think we're all kind of talking the
Yep.
same thing, but just using different language,
Yep.
so.
Yep, you're right.
But I'm not sure, I've never. They have to go back to,
I'll take a look at that, Dan, just to make sure that I'm verifying our
Mid-eighties
language
someplace
versus
in
what
there.
the state is gonna call this.
but well, like I said, it's just verbiage, that's all.
Yep.
I mean, you tweak the existing ordinance. But like I say, I've never, can't say as I've ever seen it, but
Okay. That's good to know. I will definitely check on that.
At one point in the early part of the process, I think it was identified that the entire process of looking at future building needs for the town had to start in this plan commission.
Yes.
Are we feeling pretty good about this set of plans and what's provided? I mean, obviously,
Looks good.
we had a different kind of approach, and we got a taste for what one firm would do, basically trying to convince us that everything needed to be torn down and built new, and that didn't sit well with really any of us. But I think utilizing the existing building and adding what we know we need in terms of a new public works building, I find it hard to believe that we're gonna pick this plan apart and enhance it much more than it already is. So I guess my question is, like, how close or at what point is this group to the point where we're like, hey, we're gonna make a recommendation that we take this set of plans and get them finalized and get them out for bids? Are we close on that, or are there things that we are worried about with this plan? Because I'm not necessarily personally worried. I think this is a really thoughtful design, and I think it is really effective use of the space.
Well, I think other than a few tweaks on it, it's great.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
Considering
I think
where
this
we're
is
at.
the end
Yeah,
result
right.
everybody was looking.
I'm imagining, and I
Yeah.
know that this will still be very expensive. Everything
Right.
is expensive, but this
Right.
will be more reasonable and prudent.
Well, and considering where we were at before, when I was so against this building a huge new hall that we would never use, this to me is much more reasonable and
Better use of our money.
something, better use of our time, better use of our money, better use to put out to our public to say, this is what we're gonna reface Saratoga, we're not gonna rebuild this crazy
Right.
amount of stuff we're not gonna use. So when I look at it just as a whole, without knowing the price, without knowing all that stuff, this is much more attractive to me than where we started out, which, like I was very clear, it was obnoxious and it was way over anything that we needed for this community. So I much prefer this setup right now, probably one of the best ones we've seen, I think, right now, than what we have seen in the past.
I'm happier with this plan than any plan
Yeah,
I've
that's
seen.
good.
I like the fact that it's all under one roof. As long as, and I had that concern too with the fire suppression. I thought that it was based on square footage under a roof, but it must be on the size of the room for occupancy?
Yes, that's exactly right, without the fire barriers in
Okay.
place. So the
Oh,
next.
if there was no fire barrier between the public works and there, then we would have to,
Right.
okay.
Does this building go to the EMS then? Is what you were looking at?
Well, we haven't got that far yet, but originally, yes, the EMS would be utilizing this building. But also, what happens here is that the police department, the fire departments, they like to have meetings. And they want to have meetings over at the town hall. Well, this is small enough where they could all meet in this room. So without utilizing that hall, they can meet here. So it would be, I would call it a multi-use building more than, I don't want to label it EMS. I mean, I would be
Right.
afraid to label it EMS because then you're saying that, okay, this is your building and we don't need to use it.
Or we don't get to use it.
And we don't get
Get
to use
to,
it. That's
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
better terminology.
Yeah.
And I would be afraid of that.
Yeah, I would like to keep it termed as multi-use,
I like
and
that.
they have a designated space.
Yeah.
Within the building, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Question, would this space, specifically this room, ever be reservable for other organizations' meetings and things? Or is
Well, that
that a
would be-
slippery slope that we don't wanna go down?
That would be something that we would want to discuss.
I think it could be a real benefit to the community. It's a nice sized space that could accommodate a lot of groups.
I would say maybe open it up to nonprofits, but maybe not to like general public.
Parties and
for-
things like
yeah,
private
not to
events.
parties.
Yeah, I think I recall conversations that's been a problem.
Well, but mostly because it's carpet and, that's a slippery slope, that just by itself. But to open it up to the police department, fire department, just, nonprofits that want to get together. This would be a great meeting place for what Rob's got going on right now with the new,
Well, the new recreation.
yeah, the recreation. Wouldn't this be a nice meeting room to get together some people? I mean, it's a common space instead of trying to meet at a house.
In the junkyard.
Well, we'd rather you be a little sober,
They serve non-alcohol drinks too.
but I mean,
That's what coolers are for, right?
I would think the town would be open to, utilizing it for multi-purposes.
So what's the next step here?
So the next step is to go and decide if we like this plan, and then we take it back to the architect and say, yes, we like it, but these are the modifications we need, like putting in the door and maybe talk to him about straightening that wall, see how much that would cost. And then if we're all good, naming the rooms is not a big deal. I mean, we don't need to call them somebody's office or whatever. But then he will have the engineer, which was Susan Ledecky, that's who he works with, that was the one that we had called before. She'll look it over and make sure that structurally everything is in here. And she's already did the preliminaries. She's been working with him. So I think it's a very fast process. And then he gives us a full set of prints. And he felt the first part of December, he could get us a full set of prints. Once we have a full set of prints, then it's up to us to take it to places to get bids. But I don't want to ask for bids. I want estimates. Because if we ask for a bid, then we're overstepping our bounds. Because we're not at that point where we can ask for bids because we have not taken it to the public.
Yeah.
But to get a general idea of what this is going to cost the town, I think that's a fair thing to do. And I would like, personally, we have Pellner Plumbing here in town and we have Steve's Plumbing in town now. So these two is, and both of them do commercial work? They do commercial work, right?
I'm not sure what Steve does anymore.
I know
but,
Pellner does.
I'm on a different.
So
page.
he would be one that I would just take it to him and say, best guess, don't sit down and do it nickel and dime it, but give us an idea what this is gonna cost. I take it to Altman. He's the closest contractor we got, that's a commercial contractor. And say, hey, this is what we got. What can you do with it? And I would do the same with the HVAC, if, Comfort Air, and if they don't, then I know like Shills or whatever.
So you're gonna be,
Try to keep it local and just get some ideas,
you're gonna
not
be the
bids.
general then? Are you gonna general this or?
Well, the town,
No.
well, for
Well,
now,
yeah,
Just
but
to
you
get
get
a
somebody-
for now, we have to have somebody that's gonna walk these around, and I'm probably the most versed as what we need.
Yes.
I think if you're interested in engaging Altman in the estimate process, I think in my experience with speaking with them, they would probably be able to give you a reasonable estimate that would include
All of it.
all of it.
Mhm.
Because that's
Because
their
they
lane.
got their
That's-
own generals they wanna use.
And I'm not saying that you wouldn't be able to have certain subcontractors selected underneath them. They might be able to work in with those, and they might anyways, but they should still be able to come up with a number based on a full set of plans that is close enough for us to continue planning rather than trying to engage all these different firms, I'm not saying they won't be responsive. I would think they'd be chomping at the bit for an opportunity to work on a local project like this, of this scope, but they're so busy. I think I would at least have a conversation with either Tom or Mitch Altman and see if their estimate process would kind of be enough to guide us.
Okay.
We recently, I was part of another committee I was on, engaged Altman for an estimate based on a far less sophisticated,
Okay.
far less. I mean, part of what we used, I drew up with a darn pencil, and Tom and Mitch were able to kind of give us some ideas based on. They refined it, but they don't even need to refine this really.
We really don't want bids per se, but we'd
Sorry
like to
if
get
I
it within some
I'm
thousands
sorry
of
if I
dollars.
used the wrong word again.
No,
that's
I understand the difference.
But I also wouldn't limit your scope on getting estimates, because there is multiple companies out there that are looking right now to give estimates.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't just limit a few, put it out there for anybody that wants to give an estimate, because they'll do it. I mean,
Well,
there's
I
bigger
think-
companies that handle the whole shebang.
A
that-
lot of them.
Yeah, a
Altman
lot of
uses
them. I mean, I don't,
Econ and-
I definitely, like local contractors, yeah, but you got local contractors that also work statewide.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's, my thing is get the best price. If it's
Well,
the
yeah,
local
but we're not-
contractor, if it's the one that's statewide, I don't care.
I agree
Let's
with
get
you
our,
But we're
let's
not
get our town
looking at
best
that
price.
right now. We're not,
She's just getting an
Right.
idea.
we just want an idea. If this is gonna cost us $6 million,
We need to know.
we need to know.
Right.
I mean, because we could have done it for, what, 3.5?
Something like that. Well, 3.5.
Building new from the scratch.
Mhm.
So then this is scrapped, you
Yeah,
know.
I get it. I get it.
So I don't know that we want to go through the whole work of getting like 10 estimates from an electrical company or 10 estimates from an HVAC guy until we get to the point where, yeah, and if we're within 50,000, I think that's a good number to be close to. I would say,
I like Adam's idea. If you talk to Tom,
yeah,
give you a general idea. But when we do go to bids, I agree with you.
Yeah, bids,
Yeah.
you gotta open it up there.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
yeah. So I don't care which way you point me. I'll take it to the board and tell the board what your thoughts are, but you gotta point me to what you want me to do. But I'm just telling you back and forth.
Well, I like your idea of getting estimates. It's however you wanna.
Yeah, so the step would, the
Next
initial
up.
step is to finish the final tweaks to this plan and then engage the engineer for approval and get a full set of plans. I think we're all in agreement that that's the correct.
Right, that would be the next, very
And then
next
once
step.
we have that full set of plans, we will engage
People for us.
local firms for estimates so that
Okay.
we can,
Talk to Altman and local firms, or
Sure.
talk to
I
Altman
mean,
and
I
see
think
what
I
he
would-
offers up.
I think I would start with Altman and just say, hey, is this something where you're comfortable providing us an estimate on the full scope of this project? Or do we need to be getting an estimate from you for A, B, and C along with
Something else that you
subcontracted
can't
estimates
cover.
for plumbing, HVAC, electrical? Do we need, is that gonna be part of your estimate? I think he's gonna tell you, he'll include.
Everything.
It's really hard to say accurate figures for it until,
Close. Yeah.
but that's his
Yeah.
area of expertise, and I think he'll do a good job. That's my thought. And then rather than trying to farm, you might find where you try to get estimates from all these different subs, and you might be 6 months out before you
Yeah,
really get the whole
that's a
picture put
fact.
together.
That is true.
But I think a
Yeah.
firm like Altman could come back. I mean, they're going to need a little time too, but they'll be more efficient with getting you that number we're looking
And-
But
for.
and then
Yeah.
if we just keep in our mind that that's just an estimated ballpark
Right.
of one individual, and then you put it out for bid.
Yeah,
to
when we
the
get
lowest
the,
bidder, or
yeah,
best
when we
bidder
get the
or whatever.
okay from the
Right.
town. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no
Okay.
issues with that.
This is
All
a good
right.
time of year to do that, cause that's what they're looking for. Is
Exactly, it is.
All right, I will take it to the board then after
Figure
the.
how many
Josh, you need a motion for all that nonsense, or what do we?
Well,
How do you feel? We just know the process is going to continue at this point.
I don't know that we need a motion to
Keller?
do that.
Yeah.
Keller, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's-
I'll let the minutes reflect though the
Yeah.
summary of that those.
Well, what's the
Lorelei,
Yeah.
we wouldn't need a motion to
to get
continue
prints?
the way we're going with
No, it
that.
just says
No,
update.
because
Yeah.
that's, that's what we.
Yep.
Perfect.
It's just a- Okay. All right.
I'm ready.
Thanks for providing us with the blueprints and the drawings. It's
Yeah,
very
appreciate
helpful.
No problem.
Nice ones too.
Yeah.
I had to blow them up because I couldn't read them.
Yeah, well, we all were sitting here with their phone last time, zooming them in.
So, okay.
Okay.
I showed the electrician that trick.
All right. Item number 6, driveway permit application and driveway ordinance review.
So in your packet, you have the old driveway permit and the old ordinance. And at the back, separately, you have the new driveway permit. It's called Culvert Driveway Permit Application. It's just renamed. And hopefully I got everything on there that you wanted. And then you'll see the new driveway ordinance. So the new driveway ordinance, I took out the verbiage for the easement road that Rob had asked for. And I also added in a section to, under, I think I put it under appeal. There's a fee schedule. The application fee for driveway variance shall be set by the town board as. See the fee schedule, and then the cost, the driveway, the property owner shall install the culvert and be responsible for cost thereof. A culvert driveway permit is required. See fee schedule. I did not want to put the fee inside the ordinance because we actually are talking about raising this permit fee to $75 instead of $50 because a second driveway inspection is now going to be required. The first one is when they mark where their culvert is going to be on the property. The second one will be after the driveway forms are in place before it is poured or placed.
What happens if you determine at the first one that you don't need a culvert?
Okay.
So it's still $75?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more for the time of our public works crew to come out. This was prompted by Tom Bauer, our public works guy. And I talked to Doug and got his input for the permit application and for the ordinance, and he read over both, and he thought they were good, so I'm bringing them back to you to see if there's anything you guys want different.
Okay, so from my notes last meeting on our application form,
Yep,
under the vertical retaining walls of any type of construction are prohibited. Then I had a notation that we were gonna require a slope.
and Doug said that if, so part of our permit application says that chapter 86 in the state statute tells a person about the slope. And down here, it says a copy of our ordinance can be obtained from the town. He said, you can't put everything, and this is Doug, because you
No,
told
that's
me
fine.
to
Yeah.
talk to
Yep.
Doug.
Yep.
He said you should be able to tell them that if they need any information on this, they can look at our ordinance.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because
Yeah.
I'm just going
He said
through
you
my
put
notes.
too much information on
On
an
the
application and it just,
So does that pertain to the second piece then too? Because I have notes in regards to the corrugated polyurethane galvanized blah, 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 used for culverts. And then I have an asterisk that we are putting in addition, ... We were adding something in addition to the culverts?
that was when we were telling people that if they're gonna put in a concrete driveway, that they had to have a waiver. So what I did on the top, it says installing a driveway, material used, and then it says driveway with concrete, and then in the right of way, and must be recorded on the deed.
Where
So,
are you seeing
Up
that?
here.
right at the top of the,
Oh, got it. Okay, perfect.
so
That's
that
covered.
tells somebody what they need to know.
Covered, thank you. Yes, I have all my notes. So
No, I'm glad that you brought it up because I didn't have those notes. And then the back, you'll see that there is a place for a second inspection. And on the first page, it tells you that the 2 inspections are required and when they're required and how to get them. So they call Public Works Department.
Josh, how do you want to go through this document, page by page? Because my OCD kicked in, so I
Yeah.
just warn you ahead of time.
Well, I guess we can.
Who's the phone number 2?
Public Works, Caston, Ed Lead.
Okay, but does he carry a cell, or, I mean, during the day, those guys are out.
He does carry a cell. And you can, when you get his cell number, if he does not answer, you can leave a message.
This is a 3CX,
That's his 3CX number, yes.
so if the lead road crew or whatever would change, this number can be transferred to a different phone.
Okay.
This is actually like a,
Town phone, basically?
yes,
It follows him.
Yep.
it follows that position.
Yes.
Correct.
To just
Um,
follow your lead.
So, the notes that I have, on the old waiver, it said concrete cannot be used within the town right of way. And then I have added without an approved concrete waiver. So where it says driveway with concrete in right of way, and then that blank must be recorded on deed. Is that where you would say, like a waiver has been recorded, or
So
what do you put there?
down here, when they pay the fee or sign the application, that will be explained to them.
Okay,
When they go out to do the first inspection. That's something.
so we're just recording on this application of whether they are choosing concrete
Right.
or not?
Yep, and if they choose the concrete, then that kicks in Public Works to tell them, okay, now you have to get a waiver and you go and see Paulette.
Okay,
And it also says that in our ordinance.
right.
So Chrissy, you want to go through that ordinance page by page? So number one has not, page
No,
number one
nothing.
did not get changed.
Nope.
Page number two did not get changed. Page number three did not get changed. Page number 4 or 5 did not get changed.
But it should. That's where I need you to stop.
Okay,
So, and this
What did I
is just, well, no, not that you missed, I'm just, as I'm looking through wording issues and I'm looking through formatting issues, like we've
Okay.
always done. When we go under required, we have A and then we have an A. Shouldn't A be
Wait,
moved over to
wait,
A
wait,
and
wait,
then
wait.
everything renumbered?
I don't know where you are.
Page 4,
Okay.
under required, we have A, name and contact information for applicant and contractor, and then A, description of project. Shouldn't that all be indented for, and then re-lettered A, B, C, D, all the way down?
You know where we're at?
Yeah, I do.
Page 4, under 7.01, under required. I'm not sure why we have the first initial A
Yeah, you're
out
right.
and not in. It should be in, and then everything re-number, or re-lettered
Everything
after.
should be in, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Or out.
Yeah.
We just need to be lined up and A, B, C through.
Well,
down
and
to
that
I.
takes me through the whole rest of the document.
Yeah,
Sometimes
so-
we're in, sometimes we're out. In, to me, it makes it more distinct.
Yes.
I
would agree with-
prefer it in. I would not pull it out. And I would adjust the rest of the document as we go through and as we go through
Okay.
page by page, I will explain what I mean. But
Okay,
I think it should be indented. I think it should be distinguished.
okay.
So wording wise, I think we have covered everything, because I even went back to our February and January discussion of this, and all the wording is as it should be.
Okay.
When we go to page 5, I
Then
get confused.
under culvert, it should be A and then indented. I think AB
Oh.
is right because that's coming out, oh, wait a minute, where am I?
Wait, I think you jumped ahead.
I did.
You did. So as we turn to page 5, we all of a sudden have small a, small b, and Roman numerals.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why we did that. Because
Because-
my understanding, upon request, is a driveway construction plan still upon request? Or is that a required?
No, so it's going from 4 to 5, so C, under 4, it says additional supporting documentation may
Wait, what do you
be
mean under 4?
Page 4.
page
Oh,
4,
C.
Page 4. C.
C.
This is CA.
It says upon
and
town
CB.
request, because, we don't always require the aerial photos,
Got
site
it.
analysis, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And
got it.
so, that would be under the driveway construction plan, but under that C, that A should be indented even more, I think.
Or above the A, you can put
I-
7.01 and it's tricky because you've got 2A through, usually you would put like whatever the subsection is and then put CONT, continued, to make it clear that you're continuing on from C on the previous page, because that's where I agree, it was very confusing because of where the page breaks. So, I mean, there's a couple different ways you can solve that, but upon town request, letter C, continue, like, it needs to be clear that this stuff falls under C.
That's where I got confused too. I didn't.
Well, I can
realize
just
it was
move C to
under
the next
C.
page. Then
You
I don't
could.
need to.
That might be
That
the
might-
easier thing
yeah.
to do.
It
Change the
absolutely
page
might be.
break and
Right,
then
and then
Okay,
just have
got
A
it.
indented.
Yep, because
Okay.
I was confused, like, what happened there?
Nope, no
that
problem.
might be the
All right,
the easy fix.
yep,
Yeah, and then the 7.02, we should have an A and B in
right.
there.
I got the A, yeah, and the B.
And then the 7.03, all of the ABCs. I mean, if we're gonna keep it consistent, we
Right.
need to move all of them in.
Yep,
And as long as you move all of them in, all those other things, the 1, 2s, and 3s, and 4s, under each section, makes sense.
okay. Got it. And I'll do that before the board meeting, so the board will see it. Unless you want me to bring it back here with the changes first?
I don't think if they're layout changes,
Okay.
formatting
Layout changes
changes,
are not.
that if they're not material in nature.
Okay. All right.
But I would like to jump ahead to 4.04. Special requirements for commercial and industrial driveways.
Wait,
7.04, top of page 7.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
thought you said 4.4.
You started out
Okay.
with 4.04.
Did I say that?
Yeah,
I'm so
that's okay,
sorry.
that's okay.
It's been a long day.
You're doing great.
No, you're doing all right. I'm just keeping up. Okay.
So, as I look at this, we have special requirements for commercial industrial driveways, and we have all the width of the driveways talking about no greater than blah, 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 blah. Do we need to add in there that they can be no less than? Because we do have special requirements for residential driveways at 14 feet wide in width, right away 14 feet high, clearance for emergency vehicles. Do we need to just add a clarifier that they can be no greater than 30 feet and no less than?
For a commercial driveway?
Mm-hmm.
I think commercial is required from the state to be a certain amount.
Well, and that's what I wasn't sure. Like it
I'll look
was
at that right now.
I know when Murphy put his driveway in, he had widened it.
Is it 86? It's actually 86, I think.
because it says it has a width greater than 30 feet, measured at right angles to the center line. Da 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 da.
No permit,
I think it's 86.
Except this here for have a width greater than.
Oh, so maybe I read that wrong. Maybe I read it as no greater than. No part of a private driveway located within the dedicated area.
Yeah, great. That could be either way.
Yeah, it could
Have
be
a
either
width
way.
greater than,
Right.
or not, or
It doesn't say it must be, or it must be at least 30 feet or less than, or not to exceed.
and it doesn't include the radius in here either, in that 30 feet. See here. Except it's increased by a permissible radii.
Have a width.
Except it's here. Have a width greater than 30. Yeah, I don't know which way that is actually.
Oh, if it's an L, it's less. I mean, if it goes like this, it's less.
Well, thank you for making that.
Oh, I see it.
No,
I
it's,
was like reading it and I kept reading it.
I don't know if
and
I'm
reading it like it
overreading
didn't-
it or not.
Well, and that's kind of where I was at. I'm like, did I miss how this is?
So-
It has to be greater than 30 feet.
it has to be
is what
greater than 30.
Yeah,
That's what that means.
yeah,
Okay,
So-
so then it should be fine.
yeah.
Have a width greater than 30 feet. So it cannot be less than 30 feet. Okay, so then we're good.
Okay. I was reading in here, if I could find
Would
it.
it, So-
Except as increased by permissible.
Radii. Your radius isn't included in the.
So that tells me that it
It would be
can't be
less
any
than.
more than 30 feet
Yeah, you're right.
unless it's permissible by the radii.
So
I'm
explain
still
that to
reading
me.
it, I'm still
Okay,
reading
no
it
part
as,
of any private driveway located within
as
the dedicated.
it can only be 30 feet wide.
Plus the radius.
It's here.
What do you mean by plus the radius?
When the driveway is 30 feet wide,
Yeah.
then you have right at the end it flares out.
Oh,
Those
got
are
it.
radius.
Got it.
It says it can't be greater than 30 feet.
But so then it's not saying that it can be less than a
No, it
certain
doesn't.
amount.
No.
I was reading it there.
So right now you could have a 5 foot.
Right, so do we need to add in there, cannot
That'd
be
work-
greater than
That
30
worked good
feet
for a semi company, would it?
Yeah.
or less
Trying to
than,
figure out
you know,
what-
our residential, it cannot be less than 14.
So before have a width greater, we could just add in another comma with have a minimum or
Cannot have a width greater than 30 feet or minimum width of 14 feet measured at right angles.
How you determine that? You're just pulling 14 out of your.
Well, no, because
Well, we got
on
14
a
in the-
residential, it's
Yeah,
14.
This is commercial.
Yeah.
We need
You know-
something
So
bigger.
you know trucks
Oh,
are
got
gonna
it.
come in and out of it.
Well,
So
yeah.
I don't know how we regulate. I mean, the business owner, if he's putting in a business, he'll know what size vehicles will be coming in supposedly, but
But right, but you still want to put
sometimes you order
a
something and it
minimum.
comes on
Yeah, you
a
want to put a
LTL
minimum,
truck
because
versus.
what if you had curb,
Yeah,
you know?
you still want
You gotta
to,
have a minimum.
you still want to put a minimum. You wouldn't think he would make a driveway smaller than what his trucks could come in.
Well, the
But
rest-
you also don't want a 7-foot wide driveway, now he's bumping over your curbs or your grass. Or,
Isn't that something you'd look at a plan review though?
I don't know. Or is it something we should just put in stone? It has to be at least, our residential requirements is that
It's
it
pretty
is
clear.
14 feet wide. So
minimum.
why would we go any smaller than that for our commercial?
Yeah, because you still gotta get a fire truck in it, no matter
Right.
what.
So, at the very minimum, it
So-
would have to meet residential requirements. Because there is businesses that work out of a residential
residential
home.
says with no greater than 24 nor less than 14.
Right.
So in width up there, it should be worded this
Mhm,
the same.
14
with
and 30
different
or
number.
whatever.
Yeah.
With different numbers, probably. You're correct.
And I agree, Rob, that you don't necessarily want a 14-foot driveway in a commercial where trucks are coming in and out, but
But we
if
gotta
you're
have
gonna
some
run a
kind of
business
minimum.
like that with a 14-foot driveway, then you,
But then they're unloading trucks on the road.
right?
Now, is that our place to say that you shouldn't be doing that for safety reasons, or is that?
No, it's our place to look at their plan when they're coming in and say, look,
Mm-hmm.
you have to design your driveway for your
Well, he's
traffic.
just gonna say everything
You sure
comes
you want a
on.
14-foot driveway?
Yeah.
That don't make sense.
So my question to you would be, if it's a commercial or industrial driveway, where do those come off of?
The highway.
Most of them are state, I think.
The
here.
highway. So
But what about the ones that don't?
which ones don't?
I don't know.
trying to
I'm
think.
just
But
saying.
we don't
what do
have
you
any
know?
commercial or resident
That's
or
up to,
industrial.
How about your auto shop right here? Runs, comes off our road.
Yeah, it comes off Carousel Court. There you go. Point and taken right there.
I was just thinking the,
This driveway is
Stone
about
place in
150
Hollywood.
feet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm
it
just
is,
using
it
it
is.
as an
You're
example. It's a business.
But it's
It
a business
exceeds-
that doesn't come off a highway.
Yeah, that's true.
And we definitely have those around our
Yeah, I
township.
don't know. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
not
think
many,
of another
but we
one.
do, yeah. And there's nothing in state statutes.
At all.
Nope.
It's all in their plan. If you want to run over the curb with your semi, I guess you run over the curb.
Yeah, I don't see any.
But if you don't
requirements
have one,
in
then you're
ordinance.
also running over the ditch or you're running over the culvert that eventually gets caved in. So do we,
I
It
don't
just
know.
says culverts have to be 30 feet plus ends. That's the only width requirement that I could find at all.
and I didn't mean to make this like a huge issue, but I just realized that we had it and we had it
Well,
for
there's no minimum.
residential and we didn't have it for commercial.
There's no
so I didn't know
minimum.
if
A
we
restaurant
needed
could
it.
get away with an 8-foot driveway if they wanted.
Mhm.
But, like Lorelei said, I don't know how many businesses we have off the side.
Well, and do we look at it just for, for example, those businesses that are off of side roads? Do we just do the minimum like we did for residential for fire and safety
I'm
purposes?
fine with that.
We do
Yeah,
the
the
14
14
foot
foot.
for fire and safety.
And obviously the business, based on their needs, it's their job to be prudent with
Right.
what they put in, and if they screw something up there, at least we have a minimum that's safe for our emergency
That's,
services.
that's
and
kind of what I was looking at, just safe for
probably-
emergency services, and we have it in writing, and there it is. And if you wanna go bigger, great, and you just can't go any smaller. Emergency services need to get in.
Okay, so except herein provided shall have a width less than 14 feet or have a width greater than 30 feet
No
measured
less
at the
than
right
14.
angle. Blah, blah,
No
blah.
less. Yeah.
No less than.
Okay. Have a width no less than 14 feet, and then continue the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no less than 14 feet,
And have a width,
nor greater.
and have a width greater than 30 feet measured at right angles. Okay,
Yeah, no less than 14 feet,
Yeah, nor greater than 30.
nor greater than 30.
Right, not including radii.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't get a semi in a 30-foot wide driveway, you better quit driving.
Well, semi swing hard if there's one
Yeah.
waiting and,
Yeah, but most roads are only 33 feet
Yeah.
wide, so.
well, your blacktop's probably only 24.
Right.
Are we good there?
Yeah.
where did you see that, the code?
Oh, it was in the, not in ours, it was in, Wood County's.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, Wood County's was
On page 8,
20 feet.
okay,
not a big deal. We're just missing the space between the A and the B.
okay.
Oh,
I know, it was my OCD, I'm sorry.
No, you're good, you're
Kicked
good.
in.
I'm okay with that.
So on page 6,
That,
yeah, I'm
Reverse.
backing up. B has a 1, 2, 3, 4. C
Yeah.
has a 1, 2, 3, 4.
and everybody else has got
So,
ABC.
so on page 5, when we went from C, CA, big C, little a,
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
would that A driveway construction plan on page, top of page 5 be 1 and highway access be 2?
Yeah, because we went to ones and twos
mine is
afterwards.
5. Oh, okay. So you want that to be a little.
So the
a
little a and the little b, I think, should be 1 and
Be
2
1 and 2.
to match the next page on page 6.
I think that's fine.
And then the only other thing that I saw was 7.09 on page 9. That 1, I guess, could be an A, right?
Yeah. Yeah, move it over to be A. Okay,
No, I can't find it anymore.
okay. I'll
And
go.
did you say the 1 moving it to an A?
Yes.
Okay, but what about variance then? Are we putting a letter there? Because under culvert construction, we have A, B, C, and D, which all should be indented.
Oh, I
Under
see.
appeal,
Oh, so you think
variance
that's
should
So
be an
variance should
And
be
then-
A and leave the 1.
Leave the one at concrete.
You go with that?
A. Look at you English majors going to